My friends, it's a joy to see all your faces here today. Let me begin with a question. How many of you feel deep down like you're not quite living up to your full potential? Like there's more you could be, more you could do, and more you could achieve, but for some reason it just doesn't seem to happen consistently. You're not alone, and I'm here to tell you something that might change the game for you. The key to unlocking that potential, to finally experiencing the breakthroughs you crave, lies in one word. We've all heard stories of naturally gifted individuals, those who seem to have been born with extraordinary talent or intelligence. It's tempting to believe that success belongs to them by default. But the truth is, talent alone is never enough. Talent might give you a head start, but without consistency, it won't carry you across the finish line. In fact, some of the most successful people in the world weren't the most gifted or the most brilliant. They were simply the ones who showed up every single day, committed to improving, committed to doing the work, and committed to the process no matter how they felt. Consistency is the great equalizer. It's the factor that levels the playing field between those with natural ability and those with determination. Because no matter how talented you are, if you don't show up consistently, if you don't practice, refine, and evolve, your talent will eventually fade into mediocrity. The world is full of people with potential who never achieved anything simply because they couldn't commit. They started strong but gave up when things got tough. They had the skills but not the discipline to stay the course. On the other hand, someone with average talent but relentless consistency can outshine a genius who lacks follow-through. When you do something every day, even imperfectly, you build momentum, you create habits, you develop resilience. Over time, those daily actions compound. Skills sharpen, confidence builds, results start to show. That's how real transformation happens. Not in bursts of brilliance, but in the quiet, unseen grind of repeated effort. Consistency creates mastery, and mastery leads to excellence. In the beginning, your efforts may feel insignificant. You might not see immediate results. It may even seem like you're going nowhere, while others with more talent seem to soar past you, but don't be fooled. What matters is not how fast you start, it's how long you last. Talent can give the illusion of progress, but only consistency brings true growth. It's the person who keeps going long after the excitement has faded who ultimately wins. And make no mistake, consistency requires sacrifice. It demands that you show up even when it's inconvenient, even when you're tired, even when you're not seeing results yet. That's where character is built. That's where greatness is born. Because while talent is a gift, consistency is a choice. And the choice to be consistent is one you have to make daily. The next time you doubt yourself because you think you're not as talented as someone else, remember this. Talent may open the door, but consistency keeps you in the room. It's not about being the best from the start, it's about being the one who refuses to quit. Over time, the one who keeps showing up will outlast, outperform, and outgrow the one who only shows up when it's easy. That is the power of consistency. That is what turns potential into performance and dreams into reality. Discipline is often misunderstood. People tend to believe that some individuals are just born with incredible self-control or mental toughness, that they have a natural ability to resist distractions, stay focused, and follow through no matter what. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Discipline is not a gift, it's a skill. It's not something you either have or don't have. It's something you develop, something you train, something you build over time through intentional effort and repetition. In the same way you train your body at the gym, you can train your mind to become more disciplined. It begins with a decision. A decision to stop waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect conditions, or the right amount of motivation. Discipline isn't about feeling like it, it's about doing it anyway. Every time you choose to take action despite resistance, you're strengthening your self-discipline. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you're reinforcing the belief that you can be trusted to follow through. The process of developing discipline isn't glamorous. In fact, it's often uncomfortable, boring, and repetitive. It's setting the alarm when you want to sleep in. It's choosing a workout instead of watching another episode. It's sticking to your goals when distractions are everywhere. And the more you practice those small acts of discipline, the more automatic they become. Over time, your brain begins to favor action over excuses, clarity over confusion, and commitment over chaos. It's important to understand that everyone struggles with discipline at times. No one is immune to the pull of comfort or the temptation to quit. The difference between those who stay stuck and those who rise is that the latter make a conscious effort to push through those moments of resistance. They understand that discipline isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about doing what needs to be done even when it's hard, even when no one is watching, even when there's no immediate reward. Mental toughness, like discipline, is forged in adversity. It's built when you do things you don't want to do simply because they need to be done. It's built when you embrace discomfort instead of avoiding it. Every time you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you build inner strength. And the more you build that strength, the more you trust yourself. You begin to walk with confidence, knowing that you can count on you. If you find yourself lacking discipline right now, don't be discouraged. You're not broken. You're just untrained. And like any skill, discipline can be developed with time, patience, and daily effort. Start small, set one goal and follow through. Say no to one temptation, win one internal battle, then do it again tomorrow. Over time, those small wins compound into massive results. Discipline isn't a trait, it's a training ground, and every day is another opportunity to step in, show up, and strengthen that muscle. Clarity of purpose is the foundation upon which consistency is built. Without a strong and compelling why, it becomes incredibly difficult to stay committed when challenges arise. Motivation can be fleeting, it comes and goes based on how we feel in the moment. But purpose is different. Purpose is deep, it anchors you, it gives your actions meaning. And when you know exactly why you're doing something, you're far more likely to keep doing it, even when it gets hard. Many people set goals, start routines, or chase dreams without ever fully understanding why they want those things. They might want to get in shape, earn more money, or build a business, but if they haven't connected those goals to something deeply meaningful, they'll struggle to stay consistent. The moment adversity shows up, their effort begins to fade. That's because willpower alone isn't enough to sustain long-term action. You need purpose to fuel the fire when everything else feels uncertain. When you're clear about your purpose, you make decisions differently. You wake up with a sense of direction. You stop wasting time on things that don't align with your bigger vision. You stop chasing every new distraction because you're focused on what truly matters to you. Purpose simplifies your life by acting as a filter. It helps you know what to say yes to and what to say no to. And the more focused your energy becomes, the easier it is to stay consistent. Clarity of purpose also keeps you resilient. Life is going to test you. There will be delays, detours, and disappointments. You'll have days when you feel like quitting. But if your purpose is strong enough, it will carry you through the storms. It becomes the voice that says, keep going when everything else says, give up. It's what pushes you to keep showing up long after the initial excitement has worn off. Purpose gives your discipline a reason to exist. To find that kind of clarity, you have to look inward. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What kind of life do I want to create? What impact do I want to leave behind? What values do I want to live by every single day? When you reflect deeply on these questions, you begin to uncover the real motivations behind your goals. Not just surface-level desires, but emotional, personal, meaningful drivers that pull you forward. And once you have that clarity, everything changes. You're no longer just going through the motions. You're not just chasing goals because someone else said you should. You're living with intention. You're moving with purpose. And that kind of focus makes consistency not only possible, but natural. If you're struggling to be consistent, don't blame laziness. Don't assume you're undisciplined. Look at your purpose. If it's unclear, vague, or uninspiring, it's time to reconnect with it. Because when your why is powerful enough, your how becomes a lot easier. That's the real secret to consistency. It's not just about doing the work. It's about knowing why the work matters. Accountability is one of the most powerful tools you can use to stay consistent, especially when your willpower starts to weaken. No matter how motivated or determined you are, there will always be moments when you feel like taking the easy way out. There will be days when you're tired, distracted, or simply not in the mood. That's when accountability steps in, when you've committed your goals not just to yourself but to someone else who's watching, who's counting on you, or who's cheering you on. It becomes much harder to quit. Discipline is never a solo journey. While personal responsibility is important, the truth is, we're more likely to follow through when someone else is involved. Human beings naturally seek connection and approval. We don't want to let others down. When we know that someone will check in, ask how we're doing, or notice when we've slacked off, we're more likely to stay on track. It adds pressure, but it's the kind of pressure that produces growth. That's why building a circle of accountability around you is essential. Whether it's a friend, mentor, coach, or even a small group of like-minded individuals, having someone to report to changes the game. They don't have to micromanage your life or constantly remind you what to do. Sometimes just knowing that someone cares enough to ask how you're progressing is enough to keep you moving forward. That check-in, that simple question, how's it going, can be the spark that reminds you why you started. Accountability also brings clarity. When you speak your goals out loud to another person, they become more real. You're no longer just thinking about what you want to do, you're declaring it. And when you declare something, you create a level of seriousness that often isn't there when goals stay hidden in your mind. The act of sharing your intentions adds weight and responsibility. It forces you to be honest with yourself and to evaluate whether your actions match your words. More than that, the right accountability partner can also offer support, encouragement, and perspective. They can see your blind spots. They can challenge your excuses and remind you of your potential. They can offer advice when you're stuck and celebrate your victories when you make progress. Having someone who believes in you, who's invested in your growth, creates an emotional connection that fuels consistency. Of course, accountability requires humility. It means being open, being vulnerable, and allowing someone else to see your struggles as well as your wins. But that transparency is what builds trust, not only with others but with yourself. Over time, as you consistently follow through on your commitments, you begin to see yourself differently. You become someone who finishes what they start, someone who honors their word, someone who shows up. Accountability multiplies discipline by reminding you that you don't have to walk the journey alone. It helps turn discipline from something you push into something you're pulled by. When you surround yourself with people who support your growth and challenge your excuses, staying consistent becomes not just a personal goal, but a shared mission, and that changes everything. Action is where dreams become reality, but only when that action becomes a routine. Too often, people wait for the perfect moment to take action. They wait for inspiration, for motivation, for clarity, but those feelings are fleeting. If you rely on them to move forward, you'll always find yourself stuck in the same place, wondering why nothing is changing. Real progress doesn't come from occasional bursts of effort. It comes from building systems and habits that allow action to happen automatically every single day. Structure is what keeps you grounded when life gets hectic. It gives you a roadmap to follow when everything around you is chaotic. Without structure, it's far too easy to get distracted. The world is full of noise, social media, endless notifications, unexpected problems. If you don't have a routine to fall back on, those distractions will steal your time, your energy, and your focus. That's why your daily habits are so important. They act as anchors that keep you moving forward, even when your mind is overwhelmed or your emotions are running high. Building those habits doesn't mean making drastic changes overnight. In fact, the most effective routines are often the simplest ones. It could be waking up at the same time each day, setting aside 30 minutes for focused work, or creating a nighttime routine that helps you unwind. The goal is to eliminate decision fatigue by making key actions automatic. When you don't have to think about whether or not you're going to take action, you're far more likely to follow through. You just do it because it's part of your day, just like brushing your teeth or making your bed. The beauty of routine is that it takes the pressure off. You no longer have to summon massive amounts of willpower to get started. You've already decided what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. The path is clear, and clarity leads to consistency. Over time, as you repeat the same actions, they become ingrained in your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who takes care of business, someone who doesn't wait for motivation, someone who acts with discipline and intention. But creating structure also requires awareness. You have to be honest with yourself about what's working and what isn't. If your current environment or schedule makes it difficult to stay focused, you need to adjust it. If your mornings are chaotic, start planning the night before. If distractions pull you away during the day, build breaks into your schedule so you can reset. Structure doesn't mean rigidity. It means creating a supportive environment that aligns with your goals. The truth is, success is rarely the result of a single massive effort. It's the byproduct of small, repeated actions, day after day, week after week. When action becomes routine, you take emotion out of the equation. You show up regardless of how you feel, and that consistency compounds over time. Without routine, chaos and distraction win, but with structure, you become unstoppable. You take control of your time, your habits, and your future, one disciplined day at a time. When it comes to change, most people set their sights too high too fast. They aim for massive transformations overnight, only to burn out within days. The truth is, real, lasting change never happens all at once. It starts small, so small in fact, that it might seem insignificant at first. But those small steps, when repeated consistently, build momentum. And momentum is what transforms a single habit into a powerful lifestyle shift. If you want to create big results, start by doing something manageable, something you can stick to, something so simple that failure feels almost impossible. The biggest mistake people make is overloading themselves with unrealistic expectations. They try to change everything at once. Wake up earlier, eat healthier, start working out, launch a business and fix all their flaws on day one. That pressure quickly becomes overwhelming, and when the first slip-up happens, it feels like a total failure. That's why it's essential to simplify. Pick one habit, one change, one small step. Make it so easy that you can't talk yourself out of it. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're building a system that you can grow from. Simplicity is powerful because it removes resistance. The fewer obstacles between you and the action, the more likely you are to do it. If you want to exercise in the morning, lay your clothes out the night before. If you want to drink more water, keep a bottle within arm's reach. If you want to read more, place your book where you'll see it the moment you sit down. By designing your environment to support your goals, you eliminate the excuses that sabotage progress. You don't have to rely on motivation. You rely on accessibility and preparation. Another way to make change easier is by stacking habits. Look at the routines you already have, your morning coffee, your commute, your evening wind down, and ask yourself, what small new habit can I add to this existing one? If you already brush your teeth every morning, why not follow it with a 2-minute affirmation? If you scroll your phone after work, why not play a motivational podcast during that time? When a new habit is attached to an old one, it feels natural. The routine becomes a cue, and the cue leads to action. This is how habits stick, through repetition and association. As these small habits build, something powerful happens. Momentum. You begin to feel progress. You notice the little wins. You start to trust yourself again. And that confidence leads to more action. It creates a ripple effect where one good decision leads to another. Suddenly the changes that once felt impossible start to feel automatic. That's the power of momentum. It shifts your identity from someone who wishes to change to someone who actually follows through. If you're stuck, don't try to do everything. Start with one simple action. Do it today, then do it again tomorrow. Focus on showing up, not showing off. Let each small step build on the last. Over time, those simple habits become unstoppable momentum. And that momentum becomes transformation. My friends, after everything we've explored, the power of consistency, the strength of discipline, the clarity of purpose, the impact of accountability, the structure of daily routines, and the magic of starting small. Here's what it all comes down to. Success doesn't belong to the most talented, the most privileged, or the most motivated. It belongs to those who show up. It belongs to those who decide day after day to keep going when it's easier to quit. It belongs to those who choose discipline over distraction, routine over randomness, and action over excuses. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to commit. You just need to take the first step and then the next. Because consistency is not about intensity. It's about integrity. It's about doing what you said you would do long after the feeling you set it in has faded. And when you make that commitment to yourself to become the kind of person who follows through no matter what, your life begins to change. There will be setbacks. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up. There will be storms. But if you anchor yourself in purpose, surround yourself with accountability, and lean into the power of routine, you'll find a strength inside you that you never knew existed. you'll discover that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. So today, make the decision, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Decide that from this moment forward, you will be the one who keeps going. You will be the one who pushes through. You will be the one who shows the world what real consistency looks like. Because the future isn't given, it's earned. And it's earned by those who refuse to stop. One step at a time, one day at a time, one disciplined action at a time. Now go. Start small, stay focused, and keep moving forward. The life you dream of is on the other side of your consistency. Don't just wish for it, work for it, and never stop. Thank you and God bless.